Alrighty, let's go ahead and talk about a movie that most people probably didn't know Bradley Cooper even starred in. So the Midnight Meat Train follows Leon Kaufman, who meets the owner of a prominent art gallery. He sees the chance for success that so far has eluded him. Determined to show the darker side of humanity for his debut showing, Leon crosses paths with Mahogany, a serial killer who preys on late-night subway commuters. Now, this film is based on a Clive Barker short story, and the only reason why I knew about this movie is because a few years ago, I tried to go on a Bradley Cooper binge and check out all of his catalog films, and then I ran into this movie. And then watching the trailers, I knew that I had seen the trailers somewhere before. That was probably back when Saw 5 came out, because this movie kind of came out around that time. The trailer for this movie left my memory, so in a way, I went into this movie completely blind, not knowing really what to expect. And for the most part, I thought this was a decent enough movie. Now, this film is directed by somebody whose name I can't pronounce, because if I do pronounce it, I know that I'm going to butcher it, or my furniture is going to start levitating like if I say Cardi B's real actual name. But Jeff Bueller is the one who wrote this film. He wrote Pet Cemetery Bloodlines and the 2019 film. He wrote Studio 666, a movie that I actually pretty much enjoyed, and The Prodigy, which is a movie that I think deserves a little bit more credit than it actually gets. But Lionsgate had no faith in this movie. They had it in theaters for 2 weeks, and then they immediately pulled it. Now, this was Bradley Cooper's, I would say, first time leading a film, and at this point, nobody knew who Bradley Cooper really was up until The Hangover. So you can kind of see the gamble that Lionsgate was going to pull if they released it nationwide. Well, I think they should have given this film the chance, because there are some meaty things, no pun intended, in this movie that I really enjoyed. I really love Bradley Cooper in this role, and I would really love to see Bradley Cooper take on more roles like this, because I think what his character does is very fascinating to a fault. He is obsessed with this meat butcher after somebody goes missing that he took a picture of and he saved on the subway, and that descending into madness is what really made this movie work. It really had a nice balance of a psychological thriller slash horror, with this butcher on the subway and him not knowing if it's actually in his head or it's actually something that he saw. And I think when it plays on those strengths, I think that is where the movie works, and I think that is where Bradley Cooper shines. Vinnie Jones as the butcher in this movie says nothing, and he is very intimidating. Whenever you see him on screen, whenever you see him just sitting down waiting to see his next victim, and just the way that he takes down his victims, that is what makes the movie terrifying, and that's what makes it work. There is a really nice moment of tension, and they're playing this cat and mouse game in a meat locker that heightened the intensity, and you just felt like at any moment he could have been clawed off. And that is where the movie absolutely works. When it feels like a psychological thriller, that is when I am really attached to the movie, and that is when this movie works for me. However, once we get into the reason as to what is going on, the whole mystery behind this meat butcher, why he's actually doing the killing, that is where the movie kind of lost me. And I know that is probably going to be divisive amongst a lot of people, and I think that is what's going to make or break this movie for you. For me, it was almost ruined just because of the reveal. The reveal of this movie is what really took the breath away from me, because I kind of wish they played it more as a psychological thriller. And I know that this is based on the short story, how much they took from that short story and put it into this movie, just the way that it was all unraveling. It kind of took the wind out of my sails, and you really didn't need that element, because it comes out of nowhere and it doesn't really fit with the story. And that is where this movie just really lost me a little bit, and it just fell off the rails a little bit for me. It didn't do anything to ruin the experience, because I think everything leading up to that moment, when it's working as a psychological thriller, that is where the movie absolutely worked for me. When we get to the reveal, eh, 50-50. It's going to work for some people, it won't work for a lot of people. For me, this is just one of those instances where it just did not work for me. But everything leading up to it, I really enjoyed. I really love the way this character was descending into madness, his obsession with this person. I think that worked all very well. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and give The Midnight Meat Train a 5 out of 10. This movie was a decent enough time. I didn't hate this movie. I think it works very well as a psychological thriller, But once we get into that twist and we receive the reveal, I think that is where this movie fell off for me. But those are my thoughts on the Midnight Meat Train. Have you guys heard of this movie? Have you guys checked it out? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys soon.